Good evening. I'm Chris Condit, and I want to thank you for joining our daily ride dedications tonight as part of the Texas 4000 for Cancer's 2020 Summer Ride presented by Abbott. At Texas 4000, before every ride, we take a moment to remind ourselves why our mission to fight cancer is so important by making ride dedications for those that we ride in honor of and in memory of. And we invite others to share their ride dedications for those they love and those that have touched their lives, and so that we may ride for them too. Ride dedications serve to fuel us on our journey each day, and let us know that we are not alone, that so many people's lives and the lives of their loved ones have been affected by cancer. We've got a short video to explain our ride dedications from our riders.
Texas 4000 is the largest annual charity bike ride that takes place every summer from Austin to Anchorage, Alaska, with the purpose of spreading our mission of hope, knowledge, and charity in the fight against cancer. A ride dedication is a way that we start a lot of our meetings or a lot of our rides. This is when we dedicate a ride or a part of our ride to somebody who has been in some way affected by cancer.
A ride dedication is motivation to me, because when I'm going up a steep hill or it's been a really long ride, the ride dedications that I hear from my teammates and myself are the reasons that I keep riding.
Due to the current circumstances surrounding COVID-19, it's no longer safe for us to do our typical bicycle ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. So instead, we've decided to do things virtually this summer.
So we will be having our cycling events virtually. We will be engaging with our community virtually.
A virtual ride dedication works largely the same way as a normal ride dedication. Before every meeting or before every virtual ride, you would say, I ride for this person. And if you want to, you can go into a little bit more detail about how that person touched your life.
You can submit your ride dedications via 3 different platforms. You can submit a ride dedication via the Texas 4000 webpage. You can join our Facebook live stream, or you can join our Zoom calls.
The virtual ride will be going on from May 29th to June 26th, and ride dads will be held before host interactions in the afternoon and at 7:30 to 8 a.m. Central Time every morning.
Thank you so much for participating.
Join us at texas4000.org. Together we can make a difference.
So as our riders just said, we can share ride dedications on Facebook Live if you're there. For those of you that are on Zoom, you can write your name in a chat and you'll be called on to make a ride dedication. Or feel free to write your ride dedication and one of our riders will read it aloud. Now I'd like to call on some of our riders to start us off with ride dedications. Tony, who are you riding for today? How's it going?
Doing great. How are you, Chris?
Doing great. Hey, Allie. Hey, Dana. Hey, Chris. Good to see you guys.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Tony, can you kick us off with a ride dedication?
Definitely. I can. This is the last day for Rockies, so it's hard to thank all the people and just a few minutes that we have that I would like to ride for. But there's a lot of them, and I just want them to all know, all my family, friends, my neighbors, my teachers from elementary school, middle school, you know, when my younger sister was going through cancer treatment, all of those who helped us during that time, and that helped me and went out of their way. It was very touching, you know, all the doctors and the social workers that helped my sister and my family, even after she had passed. And so I want to ride for all those people, all those other kids that my sister was going through treatment with, and their parents and their families, you know, our family friends who were there every step of the way. and who still support me, who have donated to my campaign, who have watched all the live streams and supported them, and put a bunch of comments and questions and everything to make this virtual ride as interactive as it could be for us riders. It's hard to think about like what we could have done this summer and how this compares to that, but it's still very special. And so I'm writing for all of them today.
Thank you, Tony. Allie, how about you?
Yeah, today I'd like to ride for one of our teammates, Davika, and her family. And then again, it's our last Rockies riding night. So I'd like to ride for one of the reasons I signed up for this organization. Her name's Rachel Grant. I'm riding for her always.
Thanks, Allie. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey there, good. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Who are you riding for tonight, Chris?
Yeah, so today I have a couple of ride dedications that were sent in to me today. The first one I want to give is for my good friend Sal's grandma, Marie Calisano. She passed from non-smoking lung cancer, and it was a very unexpected and tragic diagnosis since she wasn't a smoker. So today I want to remember her and honor her throughout my ride. And then I have another ride dedication for my good friends Catherine and Angela for their uncle Joe Paradiso. And I have a little story from Catherine that she sent in. I wanted to read that tonight. Uncle Joe lost his battle with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2008. I remember his room was always littered with Jolly Rancher wrappers because chemo leaves a metallic taste in your mouth. Jolly Ranchers were the only thing that made that better. He battled cancer for around 10 years, and the day he died, I was at my cousin's house. We filled 5 Carpenter bags with anything that reminded us of cancer. We were all in elementary school, but we were all screaming and crying, F cancer. He died the day before mine and Angela's birthday. My aunt gave us medallions of St. Joseph for our birthdays that year. I put it on a chain, and I haven't taken it off since that day. I literally haven't worn a different necklace for 12 years. It reminds me of him every day. So I wanted to honor Uncle Joe Paradiso's battle with cancer as well. And then finally, for my own grandparents, who I joined this organization for my grandma and grandpa in Poland. My grandma's been a melanoma survivor for 3 years now. My grandpa's still fighting prostate cancer, so always riding for them. And then the list of people that I've grown to ride for throughout this organization.
Thank you, Chris. Dana, would you like to share a ride dedication?
Yes, I'd love to. I have a ride ded for Caitlin. She's one of my high school swim teammates who battled leukemia as a child. And she continues to advocate for a higher proportion of federal cancer research funding to be allocated to childhood cancers. So very inspiring woman. And also riding for my 2020 team always. I was just listening to the program playing earlier, and it was just so informational, and I'm so proud of my team.
Thank you, Donna. If you guys will permit me, I would love to just put in a ride dedication as well to this amazing and fantastic 2020 team, to you and your families for the hard work and sacrifices that you guys have done for this year, and for just rising to the occasion when circumstances changed under your feet and under your wheels. We're just unbelievably proud of you, and I'm so grateful to you guys. So keep riding, keep fighting, and yeah, I'm riding for you guys tonight. All right. Well, if there's no other ride dedications, I just want to thank you guys for sharing those, and sharing your stories and the way that you and your families have been touched by cancer. We'll continue to ride for you. We love you, and we're riding for a cancer-free world. So please stay tuned in for our live broadcast of indoor cycling with the 2020 team starting shortly. As a fun twist, today is Abbott Day, and our sponsors, Abbott, are going to be with us tonight. I saw Dr. Alan Burton just put up a message, and I think our division president Keith Bettiger is also going to be joining and riding alongside of you guys. So I look forward to having them be part of our discussion tonight. So I also want to just throw in a few reminders. You can donate at any time on texas4000.org, and our tribute, which is normally a ballroom gala to celebrate the completion of the ride. Tribute this year is virtual. It's happening tomorrow evening. You can find out all about it on the website, texas4000.org, and you can be a part of that and watch inspiring videos about this year's 2020 team, everything that they've accomplished, and celebrate them. So I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Abbott, and all of our sponsors for the 2020 ride. I want to sorry, I'm just seeing a message from Scott Cruz, our wonderful executive director, and he's asking for us to ride for his uncle Chris, who lost a lung to cancer a few years ago. Scott, we're riding for your uncle.
Riding for your uncle, Scott. Thanks. Looks like Andrea has one, our teammate. She says, riding for my friend's Alex's little sister Nicole, who survived a brain tumor as a child.
Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
We had a ride dedication submitted to the website that I'm just going to read off. It was from Jean, and it is for Bob. And Bob is going through second round of treatment of leukemia. So we would just like to keep Bob in our thoughts, and we're writing for him as he's fighting leukemia.
Thank you.
Allie, did you want to give a ride dedication? That you're able to reconnect? Looks like she might be frozen again.
Got a reminder from Gail about tribute. Gail is our live auctioneer. And yeah, it is going to be epic, Gail. We're looking forward to it.
Feel excited for tribute? It's going to be a special one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I would like to just kind of take the time to share some more ride dedications as we continue to get them through Facebook and YouTube. And on our website, you can still submit ride dedications there. Looks like we have one from Alan, writing for his wife, Joanna, who survived childhood leukemia and adult breast cancer. Wow, that's amazing to hear.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan. Alan is actually our medical director at Abbott, and a cool fact about Alan is that he was on faculty at MD Anderson for over 10 years. MD Anderson has been one of our biggest partners, as you guys know, and we've given over $1 million to support cancer research at MD Anderson. So yeah, that's a neat connection.
So we have a ride dedication from Denise. Can you please ride for my husband, Mike, who lost his father-in-law to cancer in March? We can most definitely ride for Mike's father-in-law.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise.
There's one from my mom, writing for our family friend, Rhonda Salerno, who is a breast cancer survivor. She used to live down the street from us. Yeah, writing for the Salerno family.
Writing for Norman. Thank you, Mary Grace. Yeah, Alan.
Rockies. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I would just like to read off some names of people that I'm writing for. I like to keep a just a note on my profile on Texas 4000, the website, under the my why I ride. So if you go to texas4000.org where you can donate, you can also check out all the rider profiles from previous years and for our year. And you can go to each of the rider and see a little bit about them, what year they are in school, what they're studying, what route they're on, and you can learn a little bit about them and their about me. And then you can also read their why I ride section, which is something that kind of means a lot to all of us. We take our time to share on our profile the reason we ride. And so I kind of like to keep a growing list of people on my why I ride page. This isn't everyone I ride for, but it's all of the people that I really care about. So I wanted to ride for those who have lost hope. That's one of our 3 pillars, and hope means a lot to our team, especially in times like these. And so, there's been a point in time where I lost hope and where my family lost hope, and I'm sure those of you who are watching maybe have lost hope. So just writing for those to regain hope, and hopefully we're able to bring that to those. I want to write for the children who have fought and are fighting cancer. It's hard to see anyone going through cancer, especially children. It's really heartbreaking, especially seeing my younger sister going through treatments at Texas Children's and all the children there fighting cancer. It was really hard. So writing for all the children, because they're incredibly strong. It just baffles me when I see these young kids taking on something so big that they don't even fully understand. So I'd also like to write for our teammate Mason, who passed last year, and for Lizzie Tennyson. You've probably heard us talk about her during our Be the Match programming and stuff. She was a UT student that passed from leukemia. So I'd like to write for them.
From Christy Pittman, we're writing for your friend Cindy Smolin, who passed away 4 years ago yesterday from breast cancer after a 10-year battle. You wrote that she's missed by so many. Christy, we're writing for Cindy tonight.
Thank you, Christy.
Kathy.
We love you, Kathy.
It's a great message, Kathy. I just wanted to share that one of the things I love about our riders, about you guys, and I had the privilege of interviewing several folks from this team. I guess is it back in fall of 2018? Is that you don't come to the organization on the strength in your application, on the strength of your cycling achievements. It's really, as you write in your applications, it's your understanding of our mission and your commitment to riding for cancer, and you tell beautiful and heartbreaking stories about how you have been touched by cancer, or friends, family members, parents, classmates. And so I think that shines through everything that you guys do, and it's, when you talk about your ride dedications and who you're riding for, it's clear that that's sincere and that's from the heart. And so I'm just grateful for the caliber of riders that choose to apply for Texas 4000. So yeah. And Tony, I'll just echo one other thing about riding for the kids. During my treatment as a kid, I think being around other kids and just seeing them suffer, but seeing their strength, it feels so wrong. And it just is a thing that, gives you that motivation to try to make it right. And we can't undo the losses from cancer, childhood cancer, but we, hopping on our bikes and telling people that we're riding for them that's something. That's what we can do.
Exactly. Most definitely. There's Gail, our auctioneer, that you'll get to see tomorrow. Yeah, we have a garden, the Texas 4000 garden at MD Anderson, that was made in honor of us. Were you able to visit, Chris?
Yeah.
Donna, were you?
Yes.
I didn't make it. Y'all should kind of briefly describe it. So
it was something magical. It was crazy. Stepping foot, it was in the middle of, the whole hospital. You step out onto this balcony and there's just a serene little piece of paradise and then there's a little plaque dedicated to Texas 4000. So it's a really special spot. I imagine it's great for reflection and healing. And it was, I don't know, just a transcendent experience for us to go and see that something that we've done has meant so much to MD Anderson. It's really cool.
It's awesome.
Thank you for
I had
that.
real FOMO when I couldn't make that trip to Houston.
Oh. Alan, I saw your call out to Texas Children's Hospital too. We've really loved being able to partner with Texas Children's. Thanks for those kind words, Christy.
Thanks, Christy.
Our teammate Catherine, she says, writing for Dee Jackson and her father who battled cancer for 21 years. That's incredible. Wow.
Thanks.
It's putting up a real battle. Wow. Yeah, so we have a few minutes left. You can continue to put your ride dedications on our Facebook Live comments on YouTube. But also we'll be riding for the next hour starting at 8:30. You can feel free to put additional ride dedications and any questions or comments you may have in the Facebook Live, and we'll be happy to answer them during our discussion. Andrea says, writing for my friend Emily and her family. Her parents battled cancer at the same time. Both are survivors.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea. Writing.
Writing for Alexandra's aunt.
Thanks, Allie.
Thanks, Allie.
Hopefully you can reconnect soon on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Alan.
Is Alan going to be riding with us?
Alan clocked some miles around Houston.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear.
We're going to see Jack. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just, we have a ride dedication from Denise Silverman again. She says, I'd like to ride for this amazing, courageous, incredibly smart 2020 team who has set an amazing example for the community. Thanks, Denise.
Thanks.
Were
Denise.
any of you guys riding the night that Denise hosted? The day that Denise hosted?
I don't think.
I didn't get to.
Yeah, no.
Denise has been an amazing board member. She's been a board chair, but she's been involved for so long. I hope that you guys have gotten to meet her. She's just an awesome, awesome person. So, yeah.
Yes, I've been seeing her virtually support, so
yeah,
very much appreciated.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Katie, our Rockies teammate, writing for my mom's dad always.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Bryn.
Bryn.
So bittersweet for our last day.
I hope later on we can. I want to hear some of your cycling stories. I want to hear about the just your training leading up to early March.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What has the outdoor riding been like, and what's the indoor riding been like?
Most definitely.
Oh, nice.
Yes, tomorrow will be before our tribute event, which starts at 5:30 p.m. We'll have a day-long broadcast on StreamYard here through Facebook and YouTube, and you'll be able to hear from various writers, our staff, board members, hosts. We're all gonna hop on at various times throughout the day, ask the writers different questions, hold some candid conversations. Some of the writers will be giving their final words and thoughts to our viewers, reading some letters written or showing some pictures, writing some here and there. But it's kind of just going to be an open broadcast for our writers to kind of give their final closing remarks on their experience and for y'all to get to know us a little bit better before we finish the official 2020 Texas 4000 Summer Virtual Ride.
Todd's Aunt Sharon is in the middle of a bladder cancer battle right now. Todd, we're riding for your Aunt Sharon. Thanks for sharing that. Todd is another board member, our finance director, and also he was a past ride director.
Awesome.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks,
Great
Todd.
work, Todd. Yep.
So we have just a couple minutes left. Don or Chris, do y'all have any remaining ride dedications before we start?
I'll throw one out for Be the Match. We talked about Lizzie a little bit, but also want to mention Be the Match, the organization that helped put us in contact with her, and all the amazing things that they're doing despite the pandemic.
Yeah, they're doing great work.
Anybody on this team end up donating or not just the Rockies, but the 2020 team? I know we've had some past matches and some past donors from our writers.
Yeah, not anyone on our team yet. I think, yeah, the past writers were two writers from 2017, Bailey and Austin. And
Yep.
I think we talked about in the program today at 6 p.m., Cancer and COVID-19, Carolyn Bick from 2019 got a call, but I think kind of some things have been put off because of COVID-19. So she wasn't able to donate yet, but hopefully she will be able to.
Maybe in the ride portion, you can tell us more about that process and how you get matched.
Definitely, most definitely. Yeah, it's a good way to help cancer patients right now, even from home during isolation.
Yeah.
Well, if there aren't any more ride dedications, Chris, do you want to close us off?
Yeah. Thank you guys again for sharing, for everyone who shared. And again, we wanted to thank our presenting sponsors, Abbott, and great to see some Abbott members in the chat. Looking forward to you riding with us. And also appreciate our board members, family members, friends, and supporters for joining us this evening. So remember, you can donate anytime, texas4000.org. And you can also learn more about the tribute at texas4000.org, our gala tomorrow at 6 p.m. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a second.
Sounds good. Hi, welcome back to the Texas 4000 for Cancer Summer Riding Cycling broadcast presented by Abbott. My name is Chris Condit. I'm the founder of Texas 4000, and I'm your host for tonight. I'm so excited to be here along with the riders from the Rockies route. For those of you that don't know, Texas 4000 is a nonprofit organization that cultivates student leaders and engages communities in the fight against cancer. Our cornerstone event since 2004 is an annual 4,000-mile bike ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. The 78 members of the 2020 team have been preparing and training for their life-altering cross-country summer bike ride for 18 months. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, they were forced to make the heartbreaking decision to cancel the 2020 ride to Alaska. The pandemic may have brought our world to a standstill, but cancer rages on, so the ride must go on virtually. For the month of June, this team has been riding to Alaska virtually. I'm so inspired by these individuals on this team who have shown tremendous creativity and courage throughout this time. I'm here to MC the broadcast, and I'm so excited to be here. Please post your comments and questions, and I'll relay them to the riders as we go along. You can do that through Facebook Live or in the stream here. So, I think we'll have a few riders joining us. So I'll introduce as they join. We got Chris with us. We got Tony, and we have Donna. Hey guys, good to see you again. Oh man, so I wish I could be joining you out on the roads on a bike or riding along with you, but I'm very excited to be hosting here with you. Hey, I would love to start us off with just doing some introductions and hearing about you. I would love to hear about your major. What year are you in school? Where are you from? Just tell us about that. Yeah. Oh, Tony, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so Tony, I am finishing my final semester this fall. So I'll be on my 4.5-year mark, finishing my degrees in geological engineering and geological sciences. And then my plan is to go on to graduate school for geology, possibly still here at UT. And I was the volunteer chair for Texas 4000 for the 2020 team. And this summer I've kind of been involved helping programs put on our Talks with Texas 4000, our 3-part series, and just kind of helping the overall logistics of the summer ride. So it's been really cool to be involved with organizing this summer ride, especially on the fly when we had to switch gears and come up with a new way to carry out our mission. So I'm pretty happy with the experience I've had and Texas 4000, the roles I've been able to take on.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. I'll just add also as a quick side note, I think we have some guests tonight on today's Abbott Day. We've got some guests from Abbott that are going to be joining and riding along with us. So we'll after we go through introductions with you guys, I think we'll try to get some introductions with them as well. So Donna, tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name's Donna. I'm going into my senior year. I study environmental science, and I'm from Austin. I'm currently at my parents' house in Austin. So yeah.
Awesome. What roles did you play? Have you played in the organization as a member of Texas 4000?
I was the equipment and gear chair for Rockies.
Nice. Chris, how about you? Can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, hi y'all. My name is Chris. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Let's see. I just graduated UT with degrees in biology and English, and I start medical school in the fall. I'm going back to Chicago. Bummed to be leaving Austin, but we have to move on at some point. And then on Texas 4000, I was on the programs team, and that's been a really cool part of the virtual ride is how the programs team has been able to cater to a wider audience than we usually would have been able to. And that's been a really fulfilling part of my time in Texas 4000. So really
Tell us.
happy.
Thanks, Chris. Can you tell us just a little bit about what the programs committee does, the programs team does?
Yeah. So throughout the year, we separate into our 3 routes programs teams, and then we specifically tailor our programs and presentations to the communities that we would encounter throughout the ride. And then after we went virtual, we planned different ways to connect with our hosts, with our potential grantees, with hospitals we would have talked to throughout the ride. And it's been a really great way to expand our reach to, locations and communities that we wouldn't have had the chance to interact with on the ride. It's expanded our reach to almost a global scale. And I think that's been a really cool part of what we do.
Absolutely agree. I mean, it's such a neat aspect of Texas 4000 to have that intimacy where you can connect with somebody that can share their story. And in the past we've done that one way, and I think that your team has really innovated and trailblazed a new way for us to do that. And when someday I hope that we're back to riding to Alaska, but I think that we are going to keep finding ways to connect with people in a virtual way also, because I think, yeah, like you said, it allows us to broaden our reach beyond our 3 routes, well beyond North America. It's amazing. So, and it's really, yeah, kudos to the program committee and all of the members of the 2020 team who have helped build this out. So there's a comment from Eric, from one of our wonderful board members. Yeah, thanks to Eric. I appreciate the kind words. So thank you guys for introducing yourselves. Yeah, I thank you, Ray. That's yeah, and please, we invite people to continue sending comments, and that's fun. So I wanted to see if we can bring in some of our Abbott folks. And let's see. Yeah, there's Keith.
How you doing?
Doing great. Good to see you, Keith.
Good to see you.
So Keith, some of you guys were able to meet with Keith a few days ago when he talked to our team about leadership. Keith is actually the president of our neuromodulation division in Abbott. It's the division that I work in, and so we're very excited to have you here joining us riding, Keith.
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Keith, can you just share with the riders and the audience a little bit about Abbott and a little bit about why you decided to partner with Texas 4000?
Yeah, I mean, we hope that everybody knows the Abbott name, but Abbott's a 135-year-old company that is a health technology company. We're in the medical device business, the nutrition business, and diagnostics. And I think the company played a really nice part in trying to help in the COVID-19 pandemic through testing. So I think a lot of people have probably heard about us. But hey, look, Chris has worked with us for several years, and Chris has talked to me about the Texas 4000 on many occasions. And this year we had the opportunity to be the presenting sponsor, and it was something I couldn't pass up. I'm a cyclist too, and I said this on the call the other day, I'm always impressed when I see the riders out on the curb. We're actually right in front of our office talking about the Texas 4000. And I think what you guys do is incredibly inspiring. I listened to the dedications tonight, and I mean, they were amazing. And I'm always impressed and humbled by people that do things for other people. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this with the Texas 4000. You guys are incredible. I mean, I know it's disappointing not to be riding to Alaska. I said it the other day, I'd be incredibly disappointed, but kind of the dedication and resilience you guys showed in changing kind of what you were doing it virtually, which is way harder than I'm sure doing it on the road to Alaska. But we're impressed by it. We're just happy to be part of it with you. And we thank you for letting us be part of it.
Awesome. Thanks for those words, Keith. We got a message popping up from Brent. Brent is one of our directors at Abbott, and he says Keith's excited to ride along with everyone. Fun to see our Abbott folks represented. Absolutely. Thank you, Brent, for being on.
Yeah, we should have a bunch of Abbott folks on tonight. I know Alan's on. I don't know who else is on tonight.
Yeah. We've been messaging with that, or Alan's been messaging with us a little bit, and I think he actually may be on his bike as well. Is Alan on? Can we video with Alan?
You might be on the Zoom call.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is on the Zoom call.
Okay, hey folks on Zoom, can you wave? Good to see you guys. Don't know if they have audio or not, but yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Appreciate all of you riding tonight.
Rocky's representing.
So, can you guys talk a little bit about our different routes, our Rockies, Sierra, and Ozarks routes? Tony, you want to kick off that discussion about the Rockies route?
Yeah. So Texas 4000 has 3 different routes for the summer ride. From West Coast to East Coast, it's Sierra, Rockies, and Ozarks. And originally, the organization just had 2 routes, but in 2013, Ozarks was added, and the purpose of kind of serving the cancer belt. So if you saw our program at 6 p.m., where we talked about incidence rates of cancer and COVID, areas in the Southeast and kind of in the Midwest have a lot of, they have higher cancer rates. So we created the Ozarks route to serve those communities. And we call them the route that goes the wrong way. We poke fun of them sometimes since they go straight east in the beginning to New Orleans, opposite of Alaska. But they make their way around eventually. And they have to cover a lot of miles, but they do some great work, and they cover some communities that really need our help. But yeah, so I guess I'll give her the reason why I chose Rockies. Routes change year to year slightly, so we can serve new communities, smaller towns each year. But we have some cities that we stick with every year, like Denver, Colorado, when we go to Brent's Place, which is a cancer support service organization that we partner with. And so I was hoping to kind of go there some areas where we had family friends that we could potentially stay with. And I like the fact that Rockies camps at a lot of national parks. I'm a fan of the outdoors, so all of our routes camp, at least some, but Rockies usually camps a lot, especially in parks. So I was wanting to partake in that. But yeah.
Tony, I'm glad you mentioned Brent's Place. It's a house for immunocompromised patients that are being treated for cancer to stay for free. It's in Colorado, and we've been partnered with them for over 10 years. And I think that's actually a neat part of the organization. We give grants, large grants to, or the majority of our donations to cancer research organizations like MD Anderson, Dell Medical School, or UT Biomedical Engineering. But we also grant a lot of community-based cancer organizations along those 3 routes. And so our riders get to build relationships across the years and do great work in the fight against cancer, not just in Texas, but really across North America. I wanted to actually bounce back over to you, Keith, for a moment, and just hear about you mentioned bike riding and bike racing in your 20s. What was how did you get into cycling? Like, what was your path from just biking around the neighborhood to actually racing?
Well, I'd been a competitive runner, and I was just kind of burned out on running. And I grew up in Arvada, Colorado. So I grew up not that far outside of Boulder. And when we were kids, my parents would take us to Boulder and we'd watch crits, or we'd watch the old Red Zinger bike race, which became the Coors Classic, which isn't around anymore. So I'd always had a fascination with biking. So I loved working out, and I just got tired of running. So I maxed out my credit card right after I got back in the Peace Corps, and I bought a bike. And I still have that bike, but I rode it a lot and started racing bikes and I did triathlon. I ended up doing triathlons too, but I love biking. I love being out on the road. It's peaceful. It's fun because it's more social than swimming, I think, and running, and I find it really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's great. I'd love to hear you, Tony, Chris, Donna. Did any of you guys bike before coming to Texas 4000?
Donna did.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I was also involved with the endurance sports community. I started triathlon my freshman year, and I just love how supportive everyone is and how addicting it is. Like, every time you finish a race, you want to like keep challenging yourself and pushing yourself to new levels, and it's such a satisfying sport. I love it.
I think it's a lifelong sport too. I mean, it's you can join it at any time, and it's less it's more forgiving. Depending how you take it, it can be more forgiving on your body than other sports. So yeah, I plan to ride until I can't walk properly. So
yeah, for sure.
Chris, you were talking to us before about the program committee. I wonder if you can talk just a little bit about the Texas 4000 leadership development process. Like, what can you talk a little bit about what that was, and then your experience through that?
Yeah. So throughout the 18 months that we're in the program, there's a variety of different leadership positions that we can take. It's structured so that we have ride directors in charge of basically all the route's day-to-day activities. They help plan from the top down, and they make sure that we're on track and that our planning is going well. Thank you, Angela. Hi. Then we have assistant ride directors that help them out, basically filling the same function as the ride directors. Then from there, we have our chairs that take care of different parts of leadership. So we have programs chairs, volunteering chairs like Tony, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a bunch of different ways. Oh, and my brother too. Hey, Nick and Natalie. Thank you guys. There's a bunch of different ways to get involved with leadership in Texas 4000. For me, that was being on the programs team, helping out wherever I could in developing those. And then during the ride year, also being a ride lead and helping with our weekly training rides. So there's a variety of different ways to get involved. But one of the things that's so special about the organization is that you come out with leadership skills that you would not have had otherwise coming into it. So it's a really special opportunity, and I think it shapes us to be better people, better leaders, and the next generation of cancer fighters.
It seems to me that you guys have gained that, even having lost the ride to Alaska, you've gained as leaders. I hope that you feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about, Tony, a little bit about the requirements to be in Texas 4000 as a rider? Like, what is the kind of the basics of that?
Yeah. So Texas 4000 kind of has three main requirements of our riders to participate in the program in the summer ride. So those requirements pretty much start as soon as we join the organization, and we have deadlines throughout the 18-month program that we have to hit, and that progresses towards being prepared for the summer ride. So those three areas are fitness, fundraising, and volunteering. So to prepare us for the ride, physically, we have to reach a total of 2,000 training miles each. So each rider on the team has to work their way to that 2,000 miles. So we start in the fall. So this during the second semester of our 3-semester program. And we bike from about October to right up to the ride, of course, and then on the summer ride. So we have checkpoints along the way to make sure we're keeping up on miles. And to get those miles, we bike every Saturday, except for holidays, as a team. So we meet at 6:45 a.m. every Saturday morning. So we can't stay out late on Fridays. We make that sacrifice, and we do team rides on the weekends that progressively get longer throughout the year. So we start, around 15 miles or so, and then we make our way up to a half century around April. And so we had our half century test in April, where we had to do 50 miles in 5 hours, which everyone passed, which was awesome. And then you go on and keep building up, and then you have to do a century test, which unfortunately we didn't get to because of the pandemic, but we have to do 100 miles in 10 hours. And that's kind of like the final test. And then we work our way up towards the 2,000 miles. We do a training camp right before the summer ride to get our final miles in and to prepare for the summer ride, learn stuff about our bikes, more advanced things, and the logistics of being on the summer ride. So that's kind of like the fitness aspect. And then for volunteering, each rider is required to do 50 hours of volunteering over the 3-semester program. And so that's split up in parts. So our first semester, we do 25 hours. The second semester in the fall, we do 15. And then in the spring, so like this past spring, we do 10 hours. So total 50. And then for our fundraising aspect, we each have to fundraise 4,500 miles, pretty much $1 per mile. And we have check marks along the way to make sure that we're raising money so we can get to our goal to grant out to the cancer support services and research initiatives that we fund each year.
It's such an incredible amount of work. It's just crazy. All that on top of your schoolwork. And I mean, just what we've seen over the years too is that, I mean, we have that $1 per mile minimum of $4,500 raised, but we routinely see people raising $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and then a lot more than that. I think our average rider fundraising in normal years is something like $8,000 per rider. So it's just amazing to see what you guys do. And then as far as your riding mileage, that's also pretty crazy. You said 2,000 miles training. And then that kind of starts in the fall, and then through the summer you'll ride 4,000 miles. So you've got 6,000 miles in 1 year.
Oh yeah, that's the crazy thing too. I mean, unfortunately, we won't be hitting that mileage our team, but
yeah,
we were ready to.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about, like, all of the stuff we've done in the past year and a half. It's quite a bit.
Hey, while we're having this conversation, I just want to invite you guys to ask Keith questions. And Keith, you're more than welcome to ask questions to the riders too. I don't want to be the only person that's being able to ask questions, but yeah. So you guys feel free. One question I did have for Keith, though, you mentioned in the talk the other day about that your daughter was going to be on a 50-mile backpacking trek in Alaska, or sorry, 50-day backpacking trek. And I'm just curious, there's kind of been, we've all been hit by this COVID loss in different ways, but I'm curious what your kind of words were for her, or how you guys have coped with that. That must have been a big disappointment. How have you coped with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult for, I think for college students, it's really difficult, COVID. I mean, I think back to my college years and think of how fun it was. I mean, I know the education is part of it, but I think the social aspect of it's a huge part of it. And so I think it's really difficult for everybody, but she was, this was my senior, she was a senior in high school, just graduated from high school. She got prepared for it all year, and that trip, similar to what you guys do, is they plan for it all year. They plan the route, they plan all the food, they plan the airdrops and everything they're doing. And they look forward to it with all their friends, because it's a progressive camp that they go to, and they have the same kids every year. It's 3 or 4 girls and a counselor. She handled it pretty well, and we just talked about disappointment and things change and how to adapt to change and making the best of her summer. But I mean, it's still difficult. You just have to find different aspects of your life to focus on, and I think she's done a pretty good job. I think she's done a pretty good job at it.
Yeah. That's good.
Now she goes for a run around the neighborhood, similar to you guys on bikes in your living room, versus in the mountains and the Rockies in Alaska.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, I mean, it's a painful life lesson about managing disappointment, but it's a lesson nonetheless.
Well, you said it earlier. Someone said it earlier. It makes you stronger. It makes you more resilient. Kind of helps you better understand and adapt in life. And everything's not easy. And the better you are at adapting and changing course, I think the better off you're going to be long term. So failure and disappointment are good to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Zoom riders, how's everybody holding up? Thumbs up. All right. Do we have any other Abbott team members on? I know that I've seen messages from Alan and Brent.
I'm not sure. I think maybe they were riding outside.
Yeah, maybe. I know Alan was on. Hey, there's a message on the screen. Yeah, this is a great reminder that each year after the ride, we celebrate usually with a gala at the Four Seasons or the W downtown. We celebrate the riders' return from Alaska, and this year we've got a virtual tribute. It's free to attend. It is tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, and it's a way to celebrate this 2020 year's accomplishments. You guys have done so much. You've worked so hard, raised so much money, and we look forward to joining you and celebrating that tomorrow at the virtual tribute, the first ever virtual tribute. So that's information is on the screen below. We just encourage you guys to go to texas4000.org to sign up or learn more about the tribute event tomorrow. We've got a question from Fareed that says, do you think Texas 4000 would continue with live streams next year, even if you're not riding indoors? The streams are a great way for people to know more about Texas 4000 and the riders. So thanks for doing this. Thanks for the message, Fareed. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And maybe Chris, you've been working a lot on program committee. What have you guys talked about or thought about it in terms of ways that we can live stream next year, even if we're not having to do an indoor ride?
Yeah, so we were talking a lot about this. We've seen a pretty big uprise in attention online. We've been able to connect with a lot of people, and like I talked about, people that we wouldn't usually see or communicate with on the ride. So it's definitely a valuable tool and something that we want to look into doing in the future. I was talking with Tony the other day, and we were saying that it'd be a wonderful way to let our hosts get to know the riders, not necessarily on their own routes, but even across all of Texas 4000, just to get a glimpse into the lives and the stories of all the riders. It's definitely something that, next year's leadership we'll get to play around with, and it's something we're excited to talk about in the future.
That's great. Thank you. Can you talk a little bit? We did our ride dedications earlier, but can you just talk about how you dedicate, not just, you ride not just for the people that have been in your family, but also for the people that you meet through Texas 4000? Right? Maybe yeah, Tony, you can share a little bit about that, or anybody, whoever wants to speak to that.
Donna,
Tony,
you want to go?
You got it.
Does Donna want to go?
Go ahead, Donna.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was asking, in addition to riding for your family members or for people that in your life before Texas 4000 that have been touched by cancer, how do you ride for the people that you have met through the organization? Can you just talk about what that looks like, your ride dedications and hearing people's stories that you've not, you met through the organization?
Yeah, for sure. So T4K brings people from all different types of backgrounds, and it allows you to have a space to just open up about your cancer story, and to have a support network. I think coming into T4K, I've become a lot more open and willing to share. And I know I will always ride for my teammates' stories. We do ride dedications before every meeting, before every Saturday ride. So there's always a way to hold on to those stories and keep it as a motivator through the difficult rides.
Absolutely. I saw a dedication come through from Simon Burke, who's riding for his high school Latin teacher, whose wife died of leukemia when Simon was in 11th grade. And Andrea has a message riding for our fellow Rockies rider, David McCarty, who's a great support for me when our dads were battling cancer at the same time, and for being crazy enough to throw the Take a Ride charity concert with me in his backyard. Ha ha. That's great. Thanks for that message, Andrea.
Yeah, we're ready for David McCarty and his dad, for sure.
Yeah. Tony, can you talk a little bit about the cancer research and cancer support organizations that Texas 4000 supports?
Sorry, can you say that again, Chris?
Oh, hey, no problem. I was just asking if you can talk some about the cancer research and cancer support service organizations that Texas 4000 supports.
Yeah. So each year, Texas 4000 grants out to our partner organizations that we kind of work with year to year, and also new organizations that our grants committee decides to grant to each year, which is influenced by riders and alumni and board members as well. And so basically each year, so when we go on the summer ride, we actually grant out the money from the previous team that was fundraised. And then the money we raised is granted out by the next year's team. but that money is decided by our alumni and by a survey that's sent out to our team, kind of deciding the organizations that we are really impacted by and we would really like to see funded, when we get their proposals in. And so they change a bit year to year, but some of the ones we've funded in the past are, Brent's Place several times in Denver. Like Chris said, they're a cancer support service, and they provide free housing for patients and their families. So it looks like we have a comment on the screen from Eric about Brent's Place.
Eric says Brent's Place is a very special place and a great example of how T4K makes a difference in a meaningful way in the fight against cancer. Visiting with pediatric cancer patients and their families is a truly emotional experience for the riders and the leadership team. Thanks for that message, Eric. Eric Hurst is one of our board members, and he's a professor at University of Texas in the business school. And I think Eric also rides a lot, especially Colorado in the summertime. So I know he's been around to Brent's Place, and thank you for sharing that, Eric.
Yeah, and so Brent's Place is a great example. We even have, I think, an alumni that works there now from Texas 4000.
That's right.
We have a great relationship with them. We also support Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center in Seattle. They're a partner organization. We were able to hear them talk with our team on the virtual ride. And then we were also able to hear from some of the doctors and staff at Ochsner in New Orleans, which is the cancer center. And we partner with them as well. And we continually grant to the UT Biomedical Engineering Department and the research they do cancer treatments. And we work with the new UT Dell Medical School as well. And so and then MD Anderson Houston, and it's the garden we were talking about, Texas 4000 garden. That's that's at MD Anderson that they made in honor of us and our partnership with them. So we're lucky to be able to continue those partnerships and also grant to new organizations. I can't remember the exact names off the top of my head right now, but there's a place in Alberta that we have granted to in the past. Also a couple support services in New Mexico as well. So
thanks. That's San Juan Regional, near the Four Corners region that really cares for a lot of the native population and underserved population out there. A fun connection for me a few years ago, and after we had added that Ozarks route, was getting to go down to Ochsner in New Orleans. It was actually where I was treated for cancer as a kid, and the grants committee had independently selected that they wanted to give to Ochsner. But when they made a decision about that gift, I got to go along with the team, and I saw my radiation oncologist, who was he was a brand new doc, I think, when I was treated, and now he's the head of the radiation oncology program, and we were able to support a program that gives cancer patients, underserved patients, a free ride to their treatments. And I think they partner with rideshare organizations and help people get to their treatments.
That's so cool.
It was neat. It was very, very neat.
It's a full circle for you.
Yeah. Megan just sent in a message. Incredible to know this is the last night of the summer ride. What an inspiration this year's team is for all cancer survivors and their support organizations. And their support teams. Thanks a lot, Megan. Thank you for sending the message. Megan is actually our board chair, and she's our longest serving board member as well. So Megan's on our very first board of directors, and so she's been with us through thick and thin, and has been a great leader and friend of the organization. Texas 4000 for Cancer message says, I'm so proud of all the riders on the 2020 team for their hard work and dedication to the fight against cancer. They are the leaders of the future. Absolutely agree. Scott Cruz, our awesome executive director. These are amazing young women and men. I can't wait to see what they do next. I love the saying that you guys have about finding your next Alaska. What is your next Alaska going to be? Salman Tang says, great work 2020. Thank you for everything you do. Thanks for the message. Megan says, to tell Keith, this is so impressive to see him riding tonight. Keith, it's impressive to see you riding. What is the biggest change? What is the biggest change to Texas 4000 that you are most impressed with? So question, if that's a question for me, I think the quality of our team, of our riders, just gets better every year. It was mentioned that we started that third route, that Ozarks route, to serve populations and communities in the Cancer Belt, and to add a route that goes through that direction. Another reason that we added a third route is just the demand for a membership on the Texas 4000 team has gotten to the point where we were getting 270 or 300 applications, and we'd have to turn away so many riders or potential riders, and have lots of great candidates that we just couldn't serve. So we added a third route in part just to be able to give more riders the opportunity to be a part of the organization. But just with that high demand and that high number of applications, we're very selective, and we end up with great team members, and I think that you guys are fantastic examples of that. There's a question from Denise Silverman that she says, hey Chris, can you share with our viewers the story about how you came to found this amazing organization? I would love to.
I'd love to hear that too, Chris.
Yeah. You guys have time. You're a captive audience. Yeah, thank you for the question, Denise. So I was 11 years old and outdoorsy kid, and I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I spent a year getting treated at Ochsner Cancer Center in New Orleans. I grew up in Southwest Louisiana, and that experience, even though my cancer was advanced, but I had a good prognosis. I had a year of treatment, radiation, chemotherapy, but it was pretty much a steady improvement over the course of the year. But through the course of that treatment, I saw kids that were really struggling, kids that were not getting better. And as an 11-year-old kid, let me tell you, watching kids your age or younger or older get sicker, that leaves a mark. And so even after my treatment was done, I knew that I had to find a way to give back and to keep fighting cancer. So I didn't know at the time what that was going to look like, but I continued to be sort of outdoors adventurer and spent time working as a canoe guide, spent time backpacking, and when I was in college, I met a group of students, college students, that were doing a coast-to-coast bike ride. They were doing a cancer fundraising ride from your alma mater, Keith, from Johns Hopkins University. It was this group is called the Hopkins 4K, and they start at Johns Hopkins and they go to San Francisco. So I met these riders, and I thought, boy, I would love to do something like that. I'm going to go back and sign up to be on their team. And then we got to talking about it and thinking about it, and just decided it was, why not start something like that from Austin? And this is back in like the Lance Armstrong Tour de France craze days of the early 2000s. And we decided to start our own charity bike ride to raise money for cancer research. the first decision was, well, you know, there's already a group that's riding coast to coast, so we can't ride from Austin to the coast. That would be kind of lame. So we decided to create a ride that was going to be, you know, something just outrageous, something that would attract people's attention and get people excited about joining us in our fight against cancer. And that is how we picked Anchorage. We said that's basically the farthest place in North America that you can go from Austin, Texas. It's 4,000 miles. We'll have people join up, raise $1 a mile. We'll call it the Texas 4,000 for Cancer. So that's the kind of the way that we got the organization started. And I see another question coming in. How many riders were there in the very first year of Texas 4,000? So we had 43 riders, and they were on 2 different routes. So we actually got a lot more demand than I had expected we were going to have. You know, I planned out kind of an info session where people could come and hear about the organization. It was plastered the university with some flyers, and I didn't know if anybody was going to come, but like we had over 100 people showed up. We had lots of applications, and so instead of just creating a single route, we decided, hey, if we're going to do this model of doing a ride where we stop through, you know, community by community and get hosted by communities, we want to have a manageable size of riders. So we decided to create 2 routes instead of 1 from year 1 in 2004. So there was about 20 riders on each route. Yeah, so it's grown since then for sure. I think our first year we raised $180,000. I think your teams now are raising in the $700,000. So you know, your ability to fundraise and get people excited and get people on board has outpaced anything I could have imagined. I think the purpose of having an outrageous ride that gets people excited, I think that purpose it's been awesome. I think we've seen that become a reality because year after year we do get fantastic groups of riders and their families. There's a message from Mike Silverman. Every T4K team is inspiring beyond words, but this year's team has a special distinction of pushing through a once-in-a-century pandemic to fulfill the mission so many of us out here care so deeply about. Thank you. Mike, thanks for those words. This team, you know, when we were faced with this and you know, talking about whether the ride was going to happen this summer, you know, we didn't know what the summer was going to look like, what this ride was going to look like, but I think we were all confident that our 2020 team was going to make something awesome of it, and they have, and so we're so proud of them. And Eric says, "Pump for tribute tomorrow night." Yes. Just a reminder for anybody that has just tuned in, our virtual gala organization is tomorrow. It's at 6 p.m. You can register for it at the link that's shown on the screen, or you can go to texas4000.org and sign up. You can also donate at texas4000.org at any time during this broadcast or afterwards. So, hey, we got our Zoom crew. How's that riding going? You guys are looking awesome. Hey, can we get some horns up, Zoom crew? All right.
Like we got Simon and Alex, Katie, Ryan, Elaine, Rhea,
Yeah.
Mary Grace.
The whole gang.
Great work, team. Hey, I have a question for you guys. Did you have a chance to interact with the Future Well Kids? That's the Abbott program.
Yeah, we did a program with them yesterday. It was very cool. It was our first program targeted just for youth, and it was a really cool program. We were super excited about it, and we got to chat with some of the folks at Abbott. It was a really special program for us. I thought it was really cool.
That's awesome. I think I've learned about this organization or this part of Abbott in the last year, Future Well Kids, and there seemed to be so much synergy between Texas 4000's message of prevention and early detection, and prevention by living a healthy lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
By not smoking, by exercising, by eating right, wearing sunscreen and talking to your doctor. Those are our kind of our core tenets. And Future Well Kids it seems like it's all about helping kids make good decisions as far as being active and healthy diets. Yeah, I'm just curious if you saw some of that or heard some of that felt some of that synergy.
Yeah, it was awesome. We got to touch on all of what you just mentioned. We did diet, exercise, sun protection. It was really great. I don't think we had a lot of the kids on there. It was mostly the Abbott folks. But that's something that we're in talks about expanding and getting to talk to the kids in the future. And there was that synergy you were talking about. It was really, really exciting.
That's awesome. I think that program actually is at a lot of locations across North America. So I hope that you guys just initiated something that we will have future opportunities to build upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question for Keith. I don't know if you had seen the Future Well Kids program, but to the extent that Abbott, like even our division, our neuromodulation division, it focuses a lot on pain management. I think preventing patients from getting to a place of being in pain can be some healthy lifestyle decisions. Do you see? Is that? I'm curious what your perspective is on that, and if that's ever something that we message with our patients. In addition to their pain journey, ways that they can just live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, we haven't done that in the pain business, but we've done it in our DBS business with Parkinson's patients, where we've partnered with our nutrition business on proper nutrition and on exercise to help the symptoms of disease. But I mean, it is something we could look at in our pain business as well. But yeah, I mean, preventative medicine would help a ton of the issues that create pain and the comorbidities that go along with pain. For sure, those are good thoughts. That's a really good program, though, and I think that's one of the nice things about being part of Abbott. We've only been part of Abbott for about 3 years, but on the programs and the community programs that Abbott's involved in. That's really why we're excited to be involved with you guys as well.
Yeah, I think there's great opportunities there. Hey, we've got a message from Megan Leaders that says, shout out to Tony, Chris, and Dana tonight for peddling. Really appreciate Abbott's support of Texas 4000 and the partnership. Bound to see these riders pioneering the very drugs to cure cancer with you. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, no pressure, Chris, our future doctor. Chris,
hey,
he's going on to that school.
Do you have any questions or comments for the riders?
No, I mean, I would close with the fact that I'm impressed. I think Abbott's impressed. Like I said, I mean, to pivot from what you were doing to this, that's just a really good sign. And one of the other reasons we wanted to do this is because we do think you guys are the future leaders and people that we want to be associated with long term. So, take all the lessons you learned over the last 18 months and apply them in your life, and great things will happen. But we look forward to partnering with the Texas 4000 for a long time, and hope to have some of you as employees long term as well.
That's right. Awesome. Thank you, Keith.
And Chris is a phenomenal advocate for you guys.
Well, we wouldn't be here without our 2020 team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas 4000 for Cancer message. Thank you, Keith, for joining the ride tonight, and to Abbott for being the 2020 Summer Ride presenting sponsor. Hey, I'll give it to you riders. Do you have any last parting questions for Keith or comments?
I would just like to say, thanks to Abbott for supporting us in a big way and making sure that we're able to do what we set out to do. That's the 2020 team, and the riders do a lot, and we make the day-to-day happen, but we couldn't do it without the support of our sponsors, our presenting sponsor Abbott, our staff and board. So thanks to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to echo all of that. Abbott's been absolutely central to what we've been able to do with this summer and with this year. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for your support. It means the world.
Oh, you guys are welcome.
Yeah, and thank you, Chris, for coming on tonight. It was an honor to talk with you.
Oh, man. Thank you for saying that. It's been my pleasure. Really, really enjoyed it. So just really quick, nice message from Mark. And yeah, thank you for the kind words, Mark. And one last reminder that you can get on the website to sign up for the gala tomorrow. You can donate at texas4000.org. You'll meet more riders at the gala, and you can see what they've done this year. You can donate to Texas 4000 or purchase team cycling jerseys and other merchandise at our website, texas4000.org, at any time. And one last thank you to Abbott, to all of our sponsors. And we thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, riders, for riding. Thank you all for what you do.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks, Chris.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, Keith. Bye.
Yep.